Hello everyone, welcome to another episode here on Oxyotl, episode 28, and what we're going to do is very simple. We're going to showcase to you a battle of, in essence, we're going to do a battle of 4 times 4. You can notice that it is a decisive victory actually there. 1, 2, 3, yeah, it's only 3 armies, so I want 4. To go for that. So let's go there. Let's replenish. And yeah, I see the 4 ones that I kind of want to go for. So you can go here. Yeah, those seem nice. Those seem nice. What I can choose is the one that I'm going to attack first, by the way. And that makes the difference. I kind of don't want to attack anyone that has like good artillery. They all kind of have a few. Oh, I don't want it. Unit exchange. I don't want unit exchange. You're going to be here. And Chocomel. There we go. There we go. Let me just ensure that I have at least some level of skill points before the battle, just allocate those, because as you can see, with the auto resolve it's kind of easy, and it's just a matter of you having 4 armies versus 4 armies, while fighting is completely different. So I just want to not cheese it too much. It's not cheesy, it's the auto resolve. Auto resolve is way too powerful, especially when you've done the right decisions and stuff. I already have most of the tech, so my armies are quite powerful. So yeah, that's kind of why my auto resolve is so powerful right now. If you want, there's a video I have concerning auto resolve that can help to you to know about how you can ensure that you have the best possible outcomes in auto resolve. So this one is a close victory. Let's take this battle. It's 4 times 4. So 1, 2. Let me just double check. Or if I would go for it, would it even cause me a damage? No, I wouldn't lose any unit. So 1, 2, 3, 4 armies. It's a nice even ground, so it's time to fight this one. So let's fight it out. The plan, just as always, basically I'm receiving reinforcements from one side, he's receiving reinforcements from the other one, so that's good. A zigzag line here of my infantry forces and the skirmishers ahead, by the way, I always prefer that. And we're going to try to use the Bastillodon solar engines to take care of the bone giants. My reinforcements should show up, and it's mostly comprised of lords and infantry. And that's a big problem with the 40 unit limit, because you cannot choose what will arrive. If I could choose, I would choose just 2 armies. And I would prefer to go 2 armies versus 4, right? But at the same time, I'm using 4 armies just to ensure that I don't, that I don't lose anything. If I end up miscalculating the battle, how it goes, and that if it ends up going to the 3rd and 4th army, I'm going to be very glad that I had them. So, but I would always prefer to go versus 2 armies. So I don't know, I would always limit, maybe use a mod or something to limit so that the AI can only field 2 armies and I can only field 2 armies. And that would be kind of fun. This effect, by the way, that you see on the ground is the one to deny enemies accuracy, missile weapon damage, if not mistaken. So that's good. It's good to put on against the enemy infantry or missile infantry or artillery. So yep. Time to attack the damage dealing units with my own. Amazing that he already got the realms 1 level, so that's cool. And there's the giant cat. Here, kitty, fetch. But yeah, the Cambrian War Sphinx, he's attacking my own lord and heroes, of course, but not doing too much. And overall, I'm about to receive the reinforcements, just as he's receiving his reinforcements. And the point here is just, I got a bunch of infantry. And that's it. It's some missile infantry, which was welcoming, but the enemy is getting mostly his infantry units. And the faster that I destroy the enemy, the worse it is for me, because the more he gets fresh troops and comes in. So when fighting these battles, killing them slowly is important as well. I say that as my Lord Croak destroys whole armies, but okay, I guess there's a balance to it. So of course the AI manages to micro this much better than I do. At least every single unit is given an attack command. And all that I'm doing is just on the main squares of involvement. I'm just ensuring that my units are alive. So I keep them alive. I do some damage here. There we go. Not a lot to be damaged there. I thought there was, a lot more units there, but there wasn't. I thought there was at least, it was the piles of bodies that confused me. So I just used, I think that one's a small or a medium one, so I'm not too worried about it. Yeah. And right now it's kind of like forming a nice line here, and finally I got my infantry, my temple guards here, which will deploy here, and that's where we'll get most of the damage done. The bone giants are continuously to be attacked by my solar bastillodons, and Lord Croak is just doing what he knows best. Finally a nice target. There we go. Wasted a little bit, but still, those are some units that are going to waver, and that's good. And I'm just telling the Bastillodons now to attack other targets, because I have enough units to attack the bone giants in melee, and they fall really easily to any infantry in melee, even low quality, because they don't have exactly, they have good melee stats, but they're not, it's more to defend themselves and to ensure victory. It's just to survive a little bit more. Once surrounded, they get a lot of damage very fast. Especially from stuff that actually has a nice melee attack, right? Of course, it's not like you're going to send some spears and finish them off really, really quickly. So, yeah. Yet another from Lord Croak. And this style of battle from the AI, just sending in his single entities, while they look awesome, by the way. I have to do a Tomb Kings campaign after the rework. I'm not gonna joke. I'm gonna do a Cetra campaign after the rework, because I'm very interested on looking at these units while in battle. They're just so freaking cool. Especially the Tomb Scorpion. It has to be my favorite one, with the animation of burying in the sand. So overall, I'm just glad I have a front line now. The enemy is moving in and still sending in infantry. And once I start seeing that he's sending in artillery or missiles, that's when I know that I'm close to it. So he's going to attack these chameleon skinks and do a lot of damage here, but the crows are almost depleted. What is it called? The Necropolis Knights? Yeah, the Necropolis Knights are nearly dead there. And the 3 units can manage the carrion in melee, so it's kind of fine. I destroyed the enemy general, which is good. And now, yeah, look at this unit. It's just so cool attacking. Come on. Like, have you noticed that he has a sarcophagus in the middle? It's just so cool. Yeah, let me see if I can show it. Yeah. Some other point. I have to send these guys over to the enemy artillery units that are about to pop in. And I'm just sending in my single entities to attack. Here's the Tomb Scorpion with the casket in the middle. It's just such a cool unit. There we go. Lots of spears dead, and I think some Necha warriors as well. And he's sending in the Caskets of Souls. So right now I have to be careful and fast in ensuring that I get my units over there. So I have my missile units. I think I'm gonna move them to the side and attack those skeleton chariots. And at the same time, I'm actually just sending them through the middle. Yeah, some shots here from the Troglodon is doing great, so that's cool. He's attacking, if not mistaken. Yeah, but I don't see them firing, actually. Oh, now I saw them. Okay, they were deciding the targets. But overall, I have so many shields and so many targets for him that it's not like he can do too much about it. Sending in the missile, the Bastiladons and the Stegodons towards the enemy missiles, and that'll be all of it, because as soon as his missile units, you know, I'm able to attack and push through, that just means that the battle is almost over. You know, they're melting, if not mistaken, the battle is done. But it's one of those things, I actually feel like it's easier to fight, you know, 80 units that will come in one at a time and, you know, than to fight 40 cohesive units, you know, because the AI actually handles that better. They would have waited until they had 40 units, I would have waited until I have 40 units, and a 40 times 40 battle well decided is actually, I feel, much more difficult than what you saw there. And then there's the other case where I get casualties, yes, but I get them less distributed than if it was on auto-resolve. So there's a lot of problems for me for accepting more than 40 units engagement, you know, like up to 4 armies. I don't think that's the best idea. I would give them like reinforcements and the ability to choose whether or not to send them, you know, or to withdraw them from the battlefield, something like that. But I'm not on CA. So what I want now is just to move these guys in order to create another auto-resolve there. I have 2 more armies waiting, and I think I already have enough, because if I attack the first one, it's like, if I attack one of them, the more yeah, this one, I think it's 4, but the 5th army doesn't show up. And it's close victory. Do I lose any units? I think I lose maybe 1, right? Yeah, 1 Chameleon Skink. 1 Chameleon Skink lost to the whole endgame from the Tomb Kings. Ugh. That is not good. They need to pump up these numbers there. But yeah, I wish it was slightly different, you know, in terms of the not slightly different, a lot more different in terms of how it works with the end games, because I would prefer to see some decision making here. Like maybe I would get some bonuses versus undead later on. Maybe I would need, you know, the undead, instead of spawning immediately, they start spawning, and there's a couple of things that I can do to prevent them from doing that. And if I manage, they don't spawn. Something like that. A little bit more dynamic end game. That's what I would do. You know, other than this, you know, it would be like a warning. Hey, the end game is starting up. You gotta kill that faction as quickly as possible. Without success, the end game spawns, and when it spawns greatly, or starts spawning or something like that. So I'm still attacking some other armies, some other enemies here, while at the same time dealing with the end games. I think I had 1 lord that could reach it. Hold on. Resolve here, let's occupy. And as always, getting some control, it's not necessary. I have so many honorable elders, you know, the skill from the Soros veterans, that just allows me to avoid the control building. It's something that I still have in regards, but still. So skipping a lot of turns, and I'm now attacking. This is all very easy because I can ask Valkia to just to declare war, to join her wars, so they won't join as easily. So Valkia allowed me to join the war against Avalorn, so I'm now attacking them. And I did the Books of Corn, so a lot of the income that you see there is because of that. So, and that took me 1 turn. I was very glad. I managed to... It's good to wait until you have at least 4... The possibility of many battles, because otherwise you're just going to have a lot of turns waiting. So now I plan to destroy Scrag, and I don't want to leave any stragglers other than, you know, the ones that I absolutely need to. I'm already conquering the vampire counts because, of course, there was a lot of turns passed. This time, yes, skipped a lot of turns after the end game, and I've defeated the end game here from the vampire counts as well. I'm starting to defeat some from the green skins, which is good. I don't know if I want to conquer those guys in the middle. Only less defenders to confederate, so as soon as I do that, I'll likely conquer the isles, you know, the islands nearby, with whatever army. Even if it's just Krokar, he can do that. And overall, there's a lot of armies there from Chaos, but it's all fine and dandy. 155 turns, I think I can manage like 170 turns, maybe 200 turns. I can manage to conquer, I don't know if the whole world, but everything before I have to betray someone, you know? So around 210 turns, 220, I'm aiming for this campaign to be completed, the full map completion, actually. So I won't show you that, but I'll try to show, you know, some stuff, okay? Now, I would like to show you what is a typical end turn, and it takes quite a while. What is a typical turn when you're fighting like this? It takes some time, okay? Because there's a lot of actions to do. All I have here is I'm just confirming that Valky is not coming for me, you know, that she's not massing forces near my border or anything like that. We don't have any deals. I'm just fighting the enemies, and that helps out a lot. So, and because she wanted trade, I know that the relations are decent. So that's one of the things that you just have to keep some presence, some military presence, and ensure that they're fine. So I'm going to declare war on these guys, and I just want to show you how typically I do it. So, yeah, we're gonna take away all the trade. I could avoid this because I could have done this like 10 turns ago so that I wouldn't have the reliability factor. So that's how you cancel the deals, and then you wait 10 turns and you can betray them. But I'm not going to wait there. You know, I don't mind taking the reliability hit because I have all my units ready. I could do that for the clan Angrund, but I also won't do it because I don't really mind my reliability right now. I've confederated who I wanted, and I can wait for quite some turns before Krokgar even matters to me. So I'm going to recruit some heroes, and you can notice that these are 49 level heroes. That's the most that you can do. You can never recruit 50. And this is also a good way to show you how I typically get my skink oracles. So yeah, it's a lot of effects. I already know that you can do this. And the 50th can be the very last one that is important. So Primeval Roar, I want the armor there. Fervor, one in fleet-footed, and then the next one is in swiftness of Itzel. And that's it. And that's how I like to do the oracles. But yeah, that'll be for the Saurus as well. Hold on. This one is different because it has that Honored Elder, which is +1 control everywhere, which is just amazing. It just means that Lizardmen are the ones that don't have any issues with control. And they even have a very good building for it. So, oh, I didn't click. So Specialist, Spread Control, Training first. Just to ensure. Let me get Mentor, why not? Problem with Mentor is that you should only assign skills. It means that you should only assign skills as the very last thing in the turn. Otherwise, as you fight battles, they'll gain XP, and the Mentor will distribute it to others, and you'll feel like you're always going back and checking, you know, skills. So, Visions of the Old Ones, I don't want to go over there. That's a Sylvania army. That's an army that I can fight. That's same. Let's travel here. I really don't want to have the issues here. So that's a very typical end turn. That's a nice army, but I mean, with the ambush and with the settlement garrison, you already know the drill. You already seen Oxyotl fighting. And that army, where is it? Can I send the other army? Should I send Oxyotl there? I don't think so. I think I can send the other army that is stationed here. How many turns before it reaches? Oh, it should be fairly easy. How many? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it has 6 turns cooldown. So yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I can attack that with it. Avalon has been destroyed, which is nice. And now I'm just waiting for Prince Sigvald to land and conquer some places. Because I would love if they would land and conquer some places from like Eltharion. This is very easy armies, you know, the Chaos typical armies of Chaos Warhounds and ROR units in the late game. But yeah, Sigvald has a decent army. Maybe I'll show you the battle against him, if and only if it happens to be relevant, let's say. I know that I'm getting a lot of income from post-battle loot because of all the bonuses that I have, and I'm about to get even more. So this is one thing that I like to say is in these late game scenarios, I forgot to say that in the previous video that I did. One tip is to assign like Army Group Center, Army Group South, Army Group North, Army Group Ulthuan. You know, just think of, I'm going to move all the armies from Ulthuan, and then I'm going to move all the armies against Ikit, and then I'm going to move all the armies against Vampire Counts, and that way it's much easier for you to keep track of who you've moved or not, you know? I'm going to move everyone against Scrag and conquer everything, you know, that sort of idea here. Because that's typically what I do. For instance, I'm double checking there if there's any threats from the Greenskins. I stopped. I know that I cannot push there. I'm going to need some more armies, likely Oxyotl. I'm going to conquer the Vampire Counts. These two armies plus Oxyotl should be enough. Yeah, this army I'm going to conquer here. And yeah, that's going to be fine. I know that as soon as I push for the Greenskins, it's going to be very difficult, but as I break through, it's going to be fine. So yeah, assigning the skills, see, that's the case. I already assigned skills overall, and now I have a few more to assign because I'm still fighting battles. And that's what I mentioned, like this wasn't exactly the best way, and I'm still going for the buildings, you know, checking the armies. Yeah, I'm gonna move over there to Firemouth and Blood Peak, the places, the settlements. And now, yeah, let's get to building. I always use this late game. Always, 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 always. It always tells you what you have to build or where you have buildings to complete. And if you've done things right, this is all that you need to do, right? This one gives me income from all buildings, so that's cool. Even if I cannot get to tier 5, it's fine. There we go. All of the income, because it helps getting to the late game much easier, and this takes very little time. As you can see, this takes what, a minute to do every single turn, and that minute is valuable because you're getting the provinces to produce more money, produce more income. Because they produce more income, you're going to get another army, and it all rolls forward and forward like that. All right, so that's something that I recognize not everyone keeps building, but I recommend if you want to go for full map completion, just to ensure that you have the gold for it. Yeah, sure, I have 400k, but it's very easy to suddenly confederate someone, being in debt, and you just want later on, or that you lose trade with the biggest faction that you were trading with, and suddenly you're losing money. So yeah, it's always important to, at least until a certain point, to be building. I won't say that, you know, you need to be building all the time, but at least until a certain point. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye bye.